I am ready.
We have a long road ahead of us. Much to do.
Oh my God!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just released a trailer for the new Black Panther series, Eyes of Wakanda. It's going to release at the end of next summer. As you can see from the trailer, it covers different time periods, so we'll get a chance to see some of the previous Black Panthers going back hundreds of years, it looks like. And one of the other really big reveals is that they're supposed to debut a new version of Iron Fist in the MCU. That's right, Iron Fist is back, but not the way you expected. I know there's been a bunch of questions about what Marvel is going to do with Iron Fist, given that it's already started bringing back all the Netflix Defenders characters, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up, and we're in the middle of Disney's D23 Brazil, so it sounds like we're actually going to get some big trailers this weekend. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos for that too. This new trailer starts with a group that they're calling the Wakandan War Dogs. They're meant to be a special forces team inside the regular Wakandan military. That's the voice that says, "I'm ready," basically. There are a couple major groups of Wakanda's actual military forces, their fighting forces. The Dora Milaje, most people know about from the Black Panther movies. They have their own regular army too, Navy, Air Force, who are not the Dora Milaje, just regular soldiers. As of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we have the Midnight Angels, who are the people that wear those special suits, more of a special forces inside the Dora Milaje, like Okoye is wearing during the movie. There's the Hatutsuraze. They're the secret police concerned mostly with state security inside Wakanda, mostly like the FBI if they were more stabby than they already are. And the main characters of this series, the War Dogs, they're called the Eyes of Wakanda because they act more like the CIA, and they're mostly concerned with the flow of vibranium outside of Wakanda's borders, not so much what's happening inside their borders. They also help them see around the world across history, like they act like a security spy force at the same time, kind of like Wakanda's version of the Black Widows. But their main goal is to protect Wakandan artifacts, mostly vibranium, and track it across the world. Like if vibranium artifacts or weapons fall into enemy hands, they go retrieve it from some enemy nation or some villain from across the world, unless it's a gift from some reigning king in Black Panther to some other nation that they've let them have. Or if someone like Ulysses Klaue, for example, closer to present day, steals a bunch of vibranium, they steal it back. Ulysses Klaue, though, is a bit of a special case. He's meant to be the only person in history up to this point that was able to survive that long after having stole vibranium. Normally, he would have been dead long before Killmonger killed him. In the trailer, these 5 people, this team that we see walking away from the burning village and the building in the background, actually seem like a group of enemies that the War Dogs are fighting, just because you see one of the War Dogs killing one of the people on one of the tall ships later. Just based on the architecture here, the sailing tall ships, this particular episode might take place during the 1500s or the 1600s. Just based on the architecture of the burning building and the town around them, they might be in Mexico or maybe Spain, just because the Spanish Navy was so powerful during that era. Maybe this enemy group or some conquistador maybe tried to steal some vibranium and bring it back to the king or queen of Spain at the time, and the War Dogs go after them and burn the place to the ground to get it back. Not clear who this enemy force would be working for, though. They actually kind of look like mutants, so we might see some more mutants showing up in the history of planet Earth in the MCU, just because we know that Namor was a mutant, but he's meant to be the first mutant, and he's hundreds of years old, like 400 to 500 years old in the MCU. So this series might be taking place around the time that Namor was a little kid. Just because this enemy group here has all different clothing, different looks, like everybody looks very different, they might just be from a bunch of different nations, mercenaries working together as a team. But if it wasn't clear, this person here looks like the one that's from Wakanda who's the actual War Dog, killing the person in white. When it comes to this new version of Iron Fist during the series, they haven't said if it's the War Dogs fighting that person or if they wind up helping each other. Since the Iron Fist during any given era is typically a hero trying to help people, you'd think that the Wakandan people would work with that Iron Fist. But it is supposed to be an Iron Fist from some ancient era, not from present day, not the Finn Jones version of Danny Rand's Iron Fist. I don't know if it's going to be during hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago, like during this era here where it looks like it's just hundreds of years ago. Because we do actually have a lot of information about the line of the Iron Fist going back to Avengers 1 million BC, so like we actually do know a lot about the history of Iron Fist. But if they're doing Iron Fist from this era, where it seems like in the trailer footage, it might wind up being Wu Aoshi, the pirate queen of Pinghai Bay. Up until recently, when they introduced the Fan Fei Iron Fist as the very first Iron Fist on planet Earth, Wu Aoshi was supposed to be the first female to wield the Iron Fist, but Fan Fei is a female, so technically that kind of retconned that idea. They actually canonized Wu Aoshi to the live-action Marvel Universe through the Iron Fist Netflix episodes. Just because the head of Marvel TV recently said that they canonized all the Netflix stuff to the MCU, like it just happened, they just decided to do that, so technically Wu Aoshi would already be canon to the MCU.
Nagging me ever since Frank Choi told us your mother's story. I've heard that story before, Colleen. In Kunlun, a story about the first woman to defeat the dragon. Her name was Wu Aoshi. You know her as the Pirate Queen of Pinghai Bay. A woman who may very well be your ancestor.
During the Iron Fist Season 2 episodes, they revealed that she was Colleen Wing's ancestor as a way to set up Colleen Wing becoming the next Iron Fist, where she and Danny Rand essentially share the power of Iron Fist at the same time, basically explaining why she had a right to claim the Iron Fist. Jessica Henwick actually revealed that she was almost in the Shang-Chi movie recently, and she decided between doing it and doing the Matrix Resurrections movie because they were going to be filming at the same time. And she said she chose to do the Matrix movie instead because had she done Shang-Chi, it would have been as a different character, and I think she was actually supposed to play the Katie character. So she wouldn't have been coming back as her version of Colleen Wing, and she said that that would have meant that she could not have come back as Colleen Wing. Like, that would have shut the door on Colleen Wing returning, and she didn't want to do that. Like, she did want to eventually come back as that character. A couple years later, we find out that Marvel is basically bringing all the Netflix Defenders characters back anyway, starting with the Daredevil characters. If you haven't been following the news or my videos, Marvel's already announced their plans to bring back pretty much everybody from all the shows, or at least the main characters, not like every single person probably. Based on the Daredevil Born Again trailer that I just did a video for, I'll post a link down in the description, but after Daredevil, Kingpin, Bullseye, Punisher, who we see in that, Jessica Jones is supposed to be the big Netflix Defenders character after them. Then after that, just depending on how the timing works with all these other actors, stuff that they're working on outside of the MCU, Luke Cage would be like the next one, then the Iron Fist characters after that, including Colleen Wing. They might mess with the order on who comes back when, but that's the basic plan. I'd assume they try to recast Finn Jones' Iron Fist, Danny Rand, but it actually sounds like they might let him come back at this point. He talked about that recently. Note that his idea was to do a Heroes for Hire show with Luke Cage, which I think is an easy slam dunk for Marvel, because Kevin Feige just recently at D23 Brazil was talking about how their big plan now is to do multiple seasons of shows, and they basically did that with Netflix. Like, they're doing another version of what they did with the Netflix series, with everybody getting multiple seasons. Even if they don't want to do a completely different Heroes for Hire TV show with Luke Cage and Iron Fist by themselves, they can just bring them on both to a future season of Daredevil Born Again, like Daredevil Born Again Season 3. And since they're doing more Black Panther series, I believe Killmonger will also be back during What If Season 3. That's always the conversation too, like which Black Panthers can we bring back if we're supposed to see ancient versions of Black Panther? There's also Black Panthers going back hundreds and thousands of years too that we could also see through this Eyes of Wakanda series. They got into them just a little bit during the first Black Panther movie, but not so much during Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think they were just leaving a lot of that for other productions. Like, there's a lot of other story to tell that they can do in other TV shows. The other cool thing about What If Season 3, because they can pretty much do whatever they want because everything is so crazy on that show with the multiverse, is they're supposed to be doing crossover story with X-Men 97 characters finally. Like, finally X-Men characters, mutant characters, showing up in What If Season 3. I believe it's going to be Storm showing up in those episodes, but it's the X-Men 97 version of Storm. Namor, also a mutant, supposed to come back during What If Season 3. One of the other big things that's happened recently is Marvel's decided to change their movie plans to speed through the rest of the multiverse saga the next couple of years so they can get to Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 as quickly as possible, like finish Secret Wars and then move on to like a more Marvel Phase 7 X-Men mutant-focused saga. So when it comes to stuff like Black Panther 3, that's been delayed till after Secret Wars. Like, there are a lot of big movies that you know they're probably going to eventually do no matter what. A lot of that stuff that's not like core multiverse focus got moved till after Secret Wars just so they can finish all the multiverse storytelling for the next couple of years. But I believe the plan is still in Black Panther 3, like we're talking years now after Secret Wars, for the young version of T'Challa, original T'Challa's son, to take the mantle of Black Panther from Shuri. And because it will be a couple years down the road, they can also use the Secret Wars as an excuse to age him up a little bit faster to teenager. Really good example would be like Spider-Man showing up in Civil War as a teenager. Like imagine the young version of T'Challa, but older and becoming the Black Panther when he's around similar age. If you haven't read the more recent Secret Wars with them destroying the multiverse and then recreating it, it just winds up being a really convenient point for Marvel to retune their continuity, basically like a soft reboot, so they can change whatever they want to change and it will make sense within the story. But everyone, post all your reactions in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this new Black Panther series. And like I said, we're in the middle of the D23 Brazil right now. Kevin Feige has some epic panel that he's doing with a whole bunch of different trailers. Whatever they wind up posting online, I will try to do videos for as soon as possible. So be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those. Everybody click here and here for all those trailers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.